Okay, so welcome to my session. Manage your Microsoft 365 tenant assets with Azure Runbooks and PnP.PowerShell. Okay, for everyone, many thanks to our sponsors, or else without our sponsors, we will not have this conference. Okay, so who am I? My name is Rodrigo Pinto. I'm a Portuguese, raised and born. I live in Lisbon. I've been around the IT world since 1998. Do around SharePoint since 2001, the first version. Do Azure. I do tech leading, architecture. I do a lot of sessions in a lot of events. Last year, finally, I published my book. It's mastering Microsoft 365 and SharePoint Online. Basically, it's not directly related with what Microsoft publishes. It's more like lessons from the field. So if you want to take a peek, just do that. And most recently, also I released something called PnP WSL2. It's basically a PowerShell module that helps you manage Windows subsystem Linux too. And it's very interesting for ITs, for developers, for everything that needs to be run on Windows with Linux on top of it. Okay, yeah, and I'm MVP since 2011. That's from Microsoft MVP. Okay, who already tried Azure Automation? Wow, cool. Was it good? Yes. Bad? A good bad or a bad? How long? 3 years on Azure Automation. Okay, 1 year. Okay, that's cool, more or less. PowerShell since when? Since 10 years or since the beginning? More guys? No. In the beginning, okay. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. I'm going to explain a little bit for the ones who don't know the concept of the Azure Automation. I will try to run through the slides. With this figure, I do a lot of artistic stuff. I don't like to do slides. I go more on the practical side. So I'll do a little bit on an overview. On the concept itself, we will do a PnP on the Runbooks, so 101, advanced scenarios, tooling, and some tips and tricks. Okay, the idea here, I'm going to try to speed up the maximum on the slides because there's a couple of things there regarding with the PnP patterns and practices from Microsoft. Everybody knows what it is. Who doesn't know what PnP is? Okay, cool. Okay, that's okay. There's a lot of changes within the PnP, the recent ones and the old ones, and with the PowerShell itself. So I'm going to talk about that. It's important for at least that information to be on the slides, and you guys understand what it is. And then I'll do the practice part. Okay. Okay. So a little overview. I don't know if you know the history behind the Azure Runbooks in the automation itself. So at the beginning, when somebody asked for automation within on-prem or within the cloud, initially when they thought on the cloud was like, we need a service that actually can connect different cloud services. And that's why, what is automation to you? It's something that I can connect one service with another integration, okay? And then you have the IT pro guys that actually leverage and look into this kind of thing. Is like, oh, this is kind of cool. Automation for what? VMs, infrastructure. Let's raise up whatever network that we need, machines and all these kind of things. And then you have the client side, the business side. It's interesting, automation for the process. So more quick than this, and the slide is awful because it has a lot of details itself. So the idea when Microsoft created this technology, the idea is to fulfill each one of the blocks that I just mentioned. Not just integration between different cloud systems or on-prem systems, but also internal systems, hybrid, and also processes. Okay, right now the Azure Automation itself, although it could be better than it is right now, and I'll explain you why. It probably you already know on a couple of things. It can do for an IT pro, or even for the developers. It can actually help us achieve a goal on automation with more or less with a little bit easier to do this kind of process itself. Okay. Okay, so for the ones you already know what it is, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so the Azure Automation itself, the Runbooks, it runs on a thing called automation account. It has a couple of items inside. One is the runbooks, actually the scripting, the assets itself. It can be from images, from files, from credentials, from variables, those kind of assets. And you have jobs. You execute the script. A job is running. You can see the status of the job: start, restart, stop, whatever. And you have the workers. And the workers are basically agents. I even have afraid to say the name agent right now because of the Copilot and all these kind of Microsoft things. The agents that can run locally or on another cloud, that can actually do the execution of the runbooks itself. Okay. Now, runbooks types. So we have the PowerShell runbooks, and PowerShell can be 5.1 and 7.2. Okay, that's the bare minimum. What is the current PowerShell version right now? 7.5 or 7, at least 7.4, right? Right. So right now in the automation, the Azure Runbooks, it's 7.2. It's already deprecated. So bang, wrong. Okay, so that's one of the reasons that I do this session. It's because of that. We have the PowerShell workflow, and basically you can define a workflow, the PowerShell workflow. Yeah, they call it the PowerShell workflow. It's not, but you define a script that you actually define your workflow, and you can have states on the workflow. It's basically it's only supported on 5.1. It's not supported on PowerShell Core or the other new versions from on the PowerShell itself. Anyone knows why? Probably not. So I know this because I'm since the beginning on the SharePoint world, and this thing uses a thing called the Workflow Manager, and the Workflow Manager only works on .NET, and right now the evolution is .NET Core. Microsoft says this is kind of cool, but we're not supporting anything on this side anymore. We're not supporting, but you still have this for the PowerShell 5.1. 5.1 in the 7.2 on the runbooks and on functions. Although in functions you can go there and just hammer the definition, but here they are still valid. So and then you have the Python one. You have the graphical PowerShell, and you have the graphical workflows. Okay, the graphical is basically you can design graphic unboxes and connections between them. Okay, don't do it. It's like a fun, kind of funny, whatever business. Don't do it. Not even the graphical or graphical workflow. Forget about that thing. Forget it. It causes more trouble. I'm using the Runbook since the beginning. I don't even remember, and I had like business users doing things that they do right now with the Power Automate or the Flow, whatever the name is. They were doing on this thing, and then this is stopped working. Hey, what the hell? Who did that? Me, I did it. Okay, let's convert this to something else. So don't use it. Okay. So the PowerShell workflow, textual runbooks, the Python one, graphical again. Sorry, I'm speeding probably too much. Where are the investments from Microsoft on this side? Python and PowerShell. Okay, the other ones, don't use it. That's practically it. You can if you have something, and I do have clients that still use it, but basically they do the mock-up of whatever they need to do on that. We grab that and put it on a proper PowerShell scripting, not drag and drop stuff. Okay. Runbook investments, PowerShell, Python. I wonder why Python, right? Oh, everybody knows what managed identities are, or not? So manage identities, it's basically, so for the on the Azure and for the SharePoint world, usually whenever you have you need to do something that's not a user that needs to do. It's like an app running a couple of commands or needs to execute something. So you create an app, registration in Azure, right? Two problems, not problems, but it's actually attached to the technology itself. Whenever you create an app registration, you try always to create with a certificate. Okay, you can use the secrets also, but tend to use certificates. Okay, so the idea there is the certificate is the actual, the proper asset that you have to actually protect your app. The secrets can be hacked, more or less. I saw that. So I saw a couple of guys doing that. The certificate is it's a bit more complicated. With that approach, usually whenever we develop something, you need to create app registration, and then you to get the certificate or the secret, but the certificate in this case, and the certificate has a time span to live, right? And usually it's 2 years. I don't know, by default 2 years or 3 years. It doesn't matter. After that, you need to actually go there and change the to a new certificate, right? For the good and for the bad. One thing good on this thing, the managed identities itself, what it does, it does exactly what we do, right, manually, but the certificate is auto-renew. The system does that, okay? And basically, here the idea, you have two types of managed identities, the system assigned and the user assigned. The system assigned is usually whenever you create a resource in Azure, that identity or that identity on the app is attached to that resource. It's one-to-one. Or you can have the user assigned that basically you can use that user assigned identity to actually leverage multiple applications. And that can be done, although it needs to be documented, and although it needs to be it needs to be addressed properly. Okay, don't just next and that's it. Okay, so it's very important. This is like for the Azure and for the SharePoint developers and IT pros, this was like a game changer completely. Because instead of you having mechanisms to actually address, the certificate for 3 years right now, we're monitoring constantly and spending resources. We don't need to care about this. Okay, it can be used. It's more secure because it's within the Azure infrastructure. Okay, it doesn't come out. You don't do you can see you can see the certificate itself. So it's contained within Microsoft Cloud. Okay, this makes sense more or less. Yeah, I hope so. At least for me. Okay, so PnP Azure PnP Runbooks 101. Okay, who uses PowerShell 5.1 still? Okay, who uses Runbooks? Yes. Okay, so what's the problem with this? So my first problem, it's my personal opinion on this thing is, and this is being recorded, I need to make sure I'm not swearing or cursing. One thing is Microsoft deprecates a lot of services, and the satellite services actually being fed through that service are not following up, right? So the 5.1 was deprecated. I don't even know when was it. So 2022 .NET 3.1, yeah, in .NET framework is not actively being developed. 3 years ago, right? So in this thing still exists, and whenever I have a call, so usually because I'm an MVP, usually we have calls with Microsoft regarding the services, but whenever we touch this part, it's like it's legacy. It's there because it's legacy. Yeah, but it's legacy. What? 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20? It's legacy. So that's. Yeah, so that's the problem. So the PNP PowerShell, the version 2 something forward, doesn't work with 5.1 because on the PowerShell, on the PNP PowerShell 2, they changed from .NET Framework to .NET Core. Okay, so that thing is not supported. So and we are still using it, there's a specific version that you use for the PNP, the 1.12, that actually works, and you can still use the what's the name of this thing? The Runbooks with this version. Okay? Now, and then you have the migration, all these kind of things. Now, last month, what did it change? PNP PowerShell changed to a version 3 forward. What's the problem with this? It stopped using .NET 6. Okay? And what happens is the baseline for this to work is 7.4. And what happens on the Azure Runbooks, 7.4 doesn't exist. And it's even worse because one of the things I'm going to show you, you can actually add modules visually, like browse gallery, cherry pick the module on PowerShell to do this. PNP PowerShell. What's the version that's there? The last one. Is there anything on the UI that can actually change the version? No. So what you do is you save the module on your local, you do a zip, and you upload the stuff, and it works. Okay, so 3 things here. 5.1 is not supported, okay? Legacy. 7.2 is not supported. Legacy. What happens if I want to put a module with prior version. There's no legacy that supports that, and you send that thing to the community and to Microsoft, and you heard silence. Oh, yes, I know internally why they do that. They do that because usually the life cycle of each product is 3 years. Now you have a team 3 years, everything's gone cool, yeah, well, whatever. It's out there. After 3 years, within Microsoft, they change the team. Okay, and then that's why you see something that's like it's there, and it works for Azure, it works for SharePoint. They usually have the same procedure always. So there's a recycling on the software, but there's a lot of loose ends. It's not just in SharePoint, in .NET. Okay, then I'm not going that way, or else. Does this make sense? Let me see if I'm too fast or I'm too slow. Oh, actually, I'm cool. Okay. So the idea on this, the 101 is you go. I'm going to show you how to do it, but this is like the 101 of creating PNP Runbooks. See, we create an Azure account. We create a managed identity, and usually is a system. Manually, we need to set the permissions for whatever we need to do on SharePoint, on Azure, because out of the box, you don't have a UI that actually can give you a way of adding the permissions. Whenever we do an app registration, you have like app registration, ABC, cool, add permissions. And you have a visual that can actually users read all or sites read all or whatever. You can do that applicational wise or delegational wise. You can choose which one of them. This managed identity is a service principal. It's not an app registration. So for you to reach that, they need us, the PowerShell gurus or something like that. They need us to do that. And so basically, in this case, I'm actually using the M365 CLI because it's easier. It's less confusing than the actual PNP PowerShell, although it works also. And you can add those permissions. I'll show you the script to do that. And then you can set up variables, credentials. In the old days, whenever we didn't have the managed identities, we used the connections itself to actually put all the connect PNP online, all that information, the tenant. And right now, we just need to put the credentials that we actually the variables that we actually need. We don't need to take care of the app registration itself. You just do connect PNP. I'm going to show you minus managed identity, and that's it. And it's like, for me, it's like, oh, this is like awesome. Not just for this, but for other things. And then you pick a runbook type, and I'm just the idea here is to actually have like instructions to create that thing visually. Ideally, because we mess around with PowerShell, try to automate everything. Okay, don't rely just on the UI. For 2 reasons, Microsoft changed the UI. They changed the UI a lot, not the right parts. At least they should change the inner parts regarding the version itself of the PowerShell. But try to automate everything. This is not new for you girls and girls. Okay, let me do this thing. We do an example. Okay, let me go here. So first thing first, and I'm getting old here. Okay. Yeah, let me create you one. So first thing first, you go here. Can you guys see, or it's too small? It's okay. It's okay? So you go here, automation for the ones that already know how to do it. Bear with me. Automation account. Go here, automation. Create. Source group. Put a name. North here. I'm going to change the region. So this is, I usually use the same mnemonic that we use for the Azure parts, for the Azure naming conventions. I don't know the name. I'm putting A8 demo 1 next. System assign. Okay. So this is out of the box, and there's the network and all these kind of things. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing the creation so you guys see. And I'm hoping this is quick. Okay, go to resource. Okay, so here, for the ones that don't know what it is, on the left, you have the runbooks, the jobs, and the hybrid workers. Okay, the runbooks itself, when you create an automation account, already comes with 2, okay? One with identity graphical. I don't know why I'm still trying to promote this thing. Don't use it. And another one is I don't even know what it is, but is an example for you to look. So when we go on the detail on a runbook, you have this kind of thing: start, view, edit, link. You can have link to schedule. Another thing important one: Runbooks allows you to do webhooks. Just because it allows you to do webhooks doesn't mean you should use it. Now let me explain. You could use it, but the problem with this webhooks is you don't have authentication on top of webhooks. No, I had a client / partner that was doing the product on top of this, and he was like, "Oh, everything is webhook and whatever." Oh, cool. Webhook where? Out of the box, or you're doing your custom ones on C# or on Azure Functions or whatever? No, it's out of the box. Out of the box? What? On the Runbooks ones? Yeah. Really? Yes. Did you check the security level? Yes, I did. Did you check it? Because he didn't check it. So he had like the entire product and entire business. I'm not mentioning because this is being recorded. What is it? But he had the entire workflows and the entire webhooks exposed to the internet openly. Okay, what you can do afterwards to protect that is actually you can define networks and endpoints and conditional access and whatever. Try to cover that thing up. But if you need to do webhooks, don't use the out of the box. That's what because sometimes if the tests or the process itself or the project itself are not well managed, most of the things get out, and then somebody created something that they shouldn't, and there's no validation. So usually what I do is by default, I try to not do whatever can lead to an error or to a security issue. Okay. Okay, so we go here. Let me create a new one. I'm going to create a regular runbook for the ones that already know what it is. Bear with me. Currency. Runbook type: PowerShell, Python, PowerShell workflow, graphical PowerShell, and graphical PowerShell workflow. Okay, don't use the third ones. 1, 2, 3. Don't use this one. Actually, don't use it. Okay, use this one. Now, which version should you use? Which version? Then you guys, if you have so you already have. Imagine, oh, I'm new on Azure Runbooks. Let's create one. Why? Yeah, the right answer is it depends. It's like a Microsoft. That's exactly the point. So it's the what you're thinking of. It's like if I'm using Azure Runbooks, and Azure Runbooks is a script that you can actually execute by demand or have scheduled. If it's like a report. If it's a report, I don't mind which. I cannot use a 7.1 preview because I know that the 7.1 preview, I don't know, on the next 3 or 6 months is going to be cut over. And if you have something specific there, don't use that. Don't use anything regarding setting preview on Microsoft. Don't use on Microsoft side. No, you can use it, but you don't use in production. 2 reasons. Because first, it's not really tested properly. Second, it's third actually. Second, it can be decommissioned by Microsoft with no reason about it. Okay, and third, most of the preview technology that they use data services that exist in the United States. Okay, and because some of my clients are actually geographically contained within Europe, anything that's in preview they don't use it because they know that data is coming from the States, to Europe. Okay. So it really depends. For the 5 ones that I have right now are legacies, and we're not actually changing that thing until the restructure of the entire service platform. But usually for demos and all these kind of things, I use this one. Okay, 7.2, review and create. No worries. And basically, I have a couple of snippets here. Oops. And basically, what it does, this is a method that gets currency You put the it's something simple. It's just a method that gets the exchange rates for a specific currency. Okay, it's just for demo purpose. So you go here and you do the save of the runbook itself, and you have the option of publishing. Publishing is whenever that thing is ready to production, you just hit the publish. For the ones that already know what it is, it's not that much. And then you have this thing called test pane. In the test pane, you can actually test your function. Okay, I don't know if it's too small or not. Start. I'm not putting anything. One thing I like on this, one thing it a bit annoys me a little bit is the time for this to queue and the time for this to actually execute. Okay, it's quicker with a 7.2. With a 5.1 and with one thing called checkpoints inside is even worse. Okay, because it's .NET framework and the stack is completely different from the core itself. Okay, the core is more optimized. It's .NET Core, more speedy, and all these kind of things. So right now it started. Streams will display when the test completes. I hope. Come on. Refresh. Okay. Nothing fancy here, right? So it's like just a script just doing this. One thing, I don't know if the ones that are already messing around with this for a couple of times or a couple of years. I don't know if you know what's inside of this Azure Runbooks. What does it do? So basically, there's a system that actually creates a VM, creates a copy of a VM, grabs your script, executes and stores on that thing. One of the things that usually I have on the teams that the newbies, the new people, the new developers, new ITs, one of the things I asked him is like trying to find out what's running behind one of the Azure Runbooks. And one thing that they do, I'm going to change this one because it's quick. Let me just change. One thing that we do is this. And basically, what is it? It's a function that actually, you can run this on your machine. And it grabs you the install modules, it grabs you the machine configuration, and you can see the operating system that's beneath, the memory, and the usage, okay? I'm going just to save this and test. And it's not even rated with PNP, it's more on the basic ones. Start. Is this interesting? It's like, this is lame, yeah? Yeah, top notch. I'm just kidding. No, for me, it was anytime that I start messing around with the technology, one of the things I need to know is what's beneath it, what are the risks, what is the security, how can you enforce your team to use the proper things to do it. So basically what you see here, it's like a growing pain on the last 10 years or 5 years or whatever when this appeared. And the idea here is to actually I keep learning. There's a couple of new things here that I didn't knew why was there. And when I talk with some of the guys, can you notice if you do this on the different region, besides the European one, you do it in the States, you have different behaviors, and then so there's a difference. So what you see here, it's basically the execution of a script that analyzes the VM inside. Okay, so these are the modules installed. All of the AZ, it's here. Okay, the PnP.PowerShell script, and it doesn't matter. Variables info, that's something that you can execute on your machine. Get variables, right? What is this one? Environment info is the Kappa Fabric thing. When they released the Fabric, see, it's kind of funny because whenever Microsoft released a new stack of Fabric, Fabric, Power BI, and all these kind of things, all the VMs start showing this Fabric AI, and this is a Windows 10 VM, AMD or something like that. Where is it? Where is the processor? See, where is the operating system? Windows 10. See, it works. It's a Core one. It works. Okay, and there's a lot of other things. For the ones that I usually have this thing, I don't know if you know Text Blazer. This is the one that's actually doing the snippets. It's very interesting whenever you're showing something to the team or even to a demo like this. You put like top snippets, you get /PNP or /workflow, whatever, and it puts the script that you have. I'm saying this because the last time I did the session, what the hell was that? You typed like this. No, I didn't. It's a snippet. Okay. So yeah. So now going a little bit further. So if you go here, we see the runbooks, and then you will see the module parts. Okay. And the module parts, if you go here, remember that thing I told you, like we can add a module. Go here, add a module. Browse from the gallery. Oh, let's see PNP. PNP. PowerShell. PNP.PowerShell. PowerShell. Yeah, getting old, I know. And it's kind of cute, right? Oh, this is PNP PS gallery and whatever. We can actually go there and just cherry pick the version. I know, probably I know that in code there's a way for you to do this, but through the UI, I don't see how. This one doesn't work if you do this. Okay, so the idea here is we need to actually save the module in our local, create a zip with that name, browse for a file, and actually I think I have it here. You see, you need to upload this to the top of the to the actual automation account. Runtime version 7.2, and this version is the one to the exactly this is the version is the 2.12, I think, port. But the modules, and that's it. Okay. So let me create a new. Where is the resource group? Not this one. Okay, Runbook. Oh, okay, I know. 10 minutes. Create the Runbook. So PNP 101. We don't do this. PowerShell 7.2. Create. And then magic stuff, PNP. So this is my instruction to actually connect. So if it was like the old days, you should put like minus tenant, minus app ID, client ID, minus whatever the name is, minus certificate, minus. Now you can do this. Now, the manage identity, what is this? I'm not going to execute this, or I need to show you actually what does it do. What is the? Let me just save this. What is the managed identity? So we go here on the automation account, and there's the, where's the identity? Identity, okay, and this is the this is the managed identity. Okay, so this is our application registry that we have to actually do this. And if you go here and search, you can actually see, or not. Yeah, you can actually see that's an enterprise application. You know, oh, cool. If it's an enterprise application, probably we have an app registration beneath it. We don't. So you go here and you see where's the permissions. We go here and you see the permissions. You don't have anything. Okay. So one of the things that you need to execute, I'm going to leave the entire scripts that I have here on this attached to the session. I don't know if this is possible or not, but it should be for you guys to have a pick on what's here. So basically, we need to do this kind of things. We need to do we need to add the role assignment to the app itself. And this is a script that is it's documented by Microsoft. You put the application ID. So here that you see, what you see here, where is it? To see here, where's the overview? What you see here, I think it's the object ID. The one that you need to actually grab is this one. Okay, and then you execute the add the enter app role assignment, and then for the permissions that you need. And usually it depends. It can be, in this case, I'm using one for the demo. It doesn't actually need to be sites full control or these kind of things. I'm going to show you a working example of what we did on a couple of clients in a couple of universities and schools for them to actually achieve this kind of things. But you do the apply of the permissions like this. Out of the box on the UI, you cannot do it. Use PowerShell to do it. Okay. What else? So we can run this. Let me just grab. I think I had one ready. This one. Let me see if it's ready, because this thing usually, yeah, I think this one is working. It's already compiled, so, or not, is it? Yeah. So this one I already created, give permissions to the manage identity, so it's working. One thing also that sometimes happens is you do that add role permissions to the service principal. That thing is not immediately. You need to wait like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay, I always forget that. That's why I'm not doing that thing right now. I always forget that, and what happens is you think that thing is not working, and then you revoke again, and then that thing starts working, and then what the hell? And then it stops working because you revoked. You need to wait. That's exactly the point. And we do a lot of scripting not to wait, and then all of a sudden, yeah. Okay, come on, completed. Yeah, simple as that. You see, it's not rocket science. What amazed me the most, and still for me, it's like no time consuming and it's protected as hell. I just do this, and I don't need to do anything. For the ones that knows how to connect, you need to connect with all the parameters there, and that's it. Now let me just try not to. It's 10 minutes. Let me just try to do the advanced things, and then I can show you the final example. It's not working. Okay. So advanced scenarios. For the ones that are using 5.1, checkpoints only works on the PowerShell 5.1. I don't know. Anyone knows what checkpoint means on the mid zone? You know what checkpoint means, right? The word means on the PowerShell itself. Anybody use that part? Okay. Again, use it wisely or don't, because this thing can actually crash can crash the runbook itself and even the automation account. One thing that happens is the checkpoints. Basically, what it does, you can do in this moment. Let me do a snapshot on the workflow itself. And it's kind of interesting, right? It could be interesting if the technology itself worked with PowerShell Core, because PowerShell Core regarding memory management is more fit than this. This is .NET framework, and this actually, when you execute this, it works. It works as it should, more or less. But if you have too many checkpoints or too many runbooks using the checkpoints, you will see deprecation on performance. Okay. One thing that happens is, and I didn't knew it. Microsoft changed a couple of boundaries regarding the execution of this kind of thing. They put it like at the beginning, you had I think it was 300 or 500. Right now it's 100. That's the limit, and they didn't publish that thing just update the documentation, and nobody noticed. And what happened was the checkpoint. What it does is like this. At this point, I'm going to do a snapshot, and if there's something wrong, I can return to that specific point and run the workflow again. And it works, yes, but the time for that thing to actually reset and restate the workflow, so that's a Microsoft Workflow Manager beneath that. It's the same problem that we had with SharePoint that we had 15 years ago when that thing appeared. It works if it's like 1 or 2, but if it's like more than that running at the same time, you see that thing. Sometimes it doesn't start. Sometimes you need to restart that thing. So while you're doing checkpoints on one thing, just restart, create a new one, and execute it. Now, one of the points that actually we learned with that is the code that you do, the script that you do, needs to be defensive enough for that thing to run twice without breaking anything. Okay? It's like, I'm going to create a site. Is the site already there? Let me check. If it's not, next. Okay, do always like that. Like, I'm going to run this all like 100,000 times. It will check for each one of them. Is it slow? Yes, it's a little bit slow because it's checking whatever it's creating, but it's safe and it's bulletproof. And probably that's my line too. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. Okay, we can do nested workflows. Okay, with the child. You can what's the name of this thing, the PowerShell workflow runbooks. You can call them as a child, or you can use child runbooks usually with a regular PowerShell part. Okay, we can have parallel execution through the PowerShell. You can use a thing called Azure Automation Runbook, and it can run we can have you can run like right now I think it's 100 the limit at the same time. If you reach that boundary, you will see those workflows, the next ones falling like error. The machine doesn't compute on this part. Okay. One thing, everybody is using repos to store the scripts, right? Everybody, yeah. Yeah, try to do that. Just because it's a script doesn't mean it's not code. It's code. Do that thing. And one of the things that actually astonished me still, I'm on clients and partners, is like, I have this stored in my place. Where's your place? Oh, in my disk. Where's your disk? Oh, in this computer. Give me the computer. How about now? Oh no, I need the scripts. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't even care if it's OneDrive. Use something to store the script itself. Don't just use your machine as your. There's ways of doing the Git, Azure DevOps. You can have a lot. You can even have a local on-prem Git repo to do that. Okay, it's interesting because it's stored. It's interesting because you can see the evolution. It's interesting because you can actually manage and actually apply different features within the script itself. Okay, one of the things that I like on the runbooks, they have an option to actually have that thing connected with a Git, and you can enact actually works. But usually, whenever I do something, it's regarding enterprise level assets. So one of the things that they do is like the technology or the scripts that I use don't need to be tied with the platform itself. Okay, so whenever we do the runbooks, whenever we do Azure Function, whenever we do a C#, whenever we do any type of scripting, we have the project on a Git. Yes, we have the project being deployed through the pipelines. What is the pipeline? Pipeline is something that's within the Azure DevOps that allows you, whenever you do a check-in or whenever you click a button, that script or that automation can be executed as long as you send you do like an action, check in the code, and then you have that thing being tested across automation, even on deployment, not just go the machine execute. You can do that, but the technology itself, if it helps you to do that, it's better. Okay. Yeah. Another thing, it's adjusting the tooling, Azure Automation. Who used the Visual Code to edit PowerShell? Nice. Who uses something different? Nice. Okay. Visual Code is actually awesome. I used to hate Visual Code at the beginning when that thing didn't have a PowerShell, and I love Visual Studio, the big one that was cool. But then each time you hit the F5, you see that thing 5 minutes just to execute that. And then they created this part. So there's an Azure Automation tooling that actually you can actually access. I'm going to show you. You can actually access the Azure Runbooks. You go here and you install that thing, and you can see the actual runbooks here. Okay, the example that I was planning to show you, if I have the time here. So I'm a Marvel geek, right? My office is full of things of Marvel, so don't get me wrong on these things, warlocks and all these kind of things. It doesn't matter. So one of the things that we actually ask for the young teams to build is actually, with this technology, build me something that will allow you, my team or your team or a client or whatever, something more or less out of the box that you can build with no that much time for them to use. And one of the things that they actually did was the let's request a team or let's execute a report. Okay, and then they created this generate reports. And basically, out of the box, what you see here, it's a list on SharePoint, right? And you go here and just edit this, and then collect SharePoint sites reports and exit grid view. And you have a logic app that's monitoring this list, and actually, it will create, the reports as mentioned. So one of the things that's kind of interesting here with this simple example, they actually can use this thing to test their scripts. Doesn't matter if it's a report, doesn't matter if it's a team or whatever. Anything that you do inside of the Azure Runbooks, like the PowerShell PnP things within those boundaries, you can actually execute it here. You just drop the script in a specific automation account, and the automation account will be that script will be listed as an option here, and then actually can test it. Or you can go there and just test directly on the platform itself. Okay. One thing that annoys me and what Microsoft does is actually whenever you need to debug this thing here, right? So in its kind of the Azure Automations actually lets you do those kind of things. It lets you do those kind of things, yes. But let me show you one thing that I really don't like that they do. You go here and just double click this or fetch draft or not. I don't know where that thing is putting. So what it does, it actually where's that thing? It actually pulls your script to your local machine. Okay, but the local machine, the initial folder is a VS004 or whatever, and then you cannot grab that and actually leverage the Git like we do here. What we do as a team, we actually had a way to actually have the PowerShell runbooks being divided like this. Okay. And basically you have the different versions here, and the system itself, it mimics what Microsoft has and actually can get you the same approach without back and forth on the cloud. So you're running locally. Let me show you an example. What's the name of this thing? If I run this PNP Candyman, what it does, and I'll give you a very quick example. What it does is all the commandlets that you see here are related with the specific Azure Runbooks connections, right? It's something that needs to connect to the cloud and whatever. What we did was actually we mimicked the functions itself within a specific our local module, and it's like the system thinks it's the Microsoft one. And this is actually the runbook that we're going to put in the cloud. So it's if I put this is out of the box. I don't need to do anything. And another thing that actually allows us. So this is running locally. So I'm going to hit the connect here, and basically I did what we did was a wrapper on top of the connect. And basically you cannot run connect PNP minus managed identity on your local machine. That thing doesn't compute. Where's the app principle to do that? So we did a wrapper that actually mimics. It's not a good wrapper because it has everything exposed here, but it's a demo, so that's no problem. So it basically what it does, it mimics, and you don't change anything. If I need to submit this runbook in the cloud, I don't need to change anything, and I can test it here. So it's kind of cool, right? It's the tooling that we're always doing this kind of things, and there's a lot of stuff that we can do on top of this. I'm going to put this on a GitHub. I think it's already there, but I don't think it's updated. I'm going to put this in a GitHub, and on the slides I will put all the reference. Okay. Start to be so. Usually this is 15 minutes. I just noted yesterday that this was 45. Okay. In demo, I already did it. Tips and tricks. Okay, this is for the ones that are using PowerShell arrow action preference equals to stop. It's debatable, but I usually do that thing. One thing that you can put on the environment part, update check you put to false if you don't want to see those yellow stuff showing up. Tag runbook with the version. Oh, and one thing that's actually changed 2 years ago. Runbook naming. So the guys and me included, we were doing the naming of we didn't care. We were not using the standard way of creating commandlets. We were using client and the company name. Instead of like get minus process or something like that, we were get minus ABC, the name of the company, blah blah blah, and then the process itself. And we realized that last year, prior to summer, we submitted the runbooks, and all of the runbooks didn't come in. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? So Microsoft, again, changed the rules on a good way, right? They changed it. They are enforcing that your commandlets and your commands are actually fit to the verbs. You know that thing that whenever you compile something on PowerShell, you see like you're using a verb that's not allowed. Okay, if you on the cloud, if you do those verbs are not allowed, your runbook is not coming in. Now we had like 60 runbooks boom, all of a sudden, all of them on the deploy, on the pipeline, what the hell's going, what did you do? I didn't do anything. And everybody starts searching, and then we open a case with Microsoft. And then the guy from Microsoft actually stated, oh, they changed the rule and the policies to submit the runbooks on the name of the scripts on runbooks. And I was like, okay, nice to know. And then we had to roll back. Okay. Naming convention. Runbooks execution limit 3 hours. 3 hours, 100 at the same time. Runbooks runtime versions can't be mixed. When I say can't be mixed, is within the same VM that you see. Only one PowerShell runtime can be executed. You cannot mix 5.1 with 7.2. 5.1 uses .NET Framework. 7.2 uses .NET Core. Okay. If you use checkpoints and if you use PNP, use checkpoints to the create checkpoint before doing the connect, or else you'll get a little bit of weird surprises. Protect your Azure Runbooks. Runbooks webhooks. That thing is open. I already told you, I think. Yeah, I did. Adjust your dev tooling, and for the deployment, use a thing called Bicep. Everybody knows what Bicep is. It's basically a script that you can actually execute stuff, and that's it. And yeah, I hope. Oh, Q&A. Okay. What if Silver Surfer, White Tiger, Night Rider in a snowstorm? Any questions? Oh, okay.
I didn't see you select a hybrid worker.
No.
So do those auto create whenever you run a job?
No. Hybrid worker is whenever you need to. So whenever you need to reach some, I only use that whenever I need to run something on prem, or whenever you need to run some specific situations where you need to reach a cloud service that you need a certificate inside of a VM, of a small VM or a subset. The hybrid worker, usually it's for starting machines inside your own data center if you need it. No, I don't know what normal is, but you understand. Yeah, for something with the Office 365, you don't need that thing. Okay, let me just hear you first.
I have a question regarding checkpoints. You stated that the execution limit is 3 hours. Now, let's say you have a massive runbook that exceeds the runtime of 3 hours, but we have a checkpoint that maybe would have triggered at 2 hours, 30 minutes. So after the runtime,
You can get in. Sorry.
does the retry attempt start from the checkpoint with a new time of 3 hours, or is that...
No. It's just, yeah, right. It's like, yeah, right. For those things, that's a valid one. We were doing. Anybody knows Microsoft Project, the old one? Okay, we were doing that thing on the like reports and assignments and all these kind of things. So we had to actually use runbooks to run the REST APIs to the project. And one of the checkpoints, they did exactly what you said. They had like a 1,000 tasks or 2,000 tasks, and that thing lasted for 2 hours and a half, and then the checkpoint went back. Okay, I'm okay with this. And he started an hour later. The system, what it does is actually kills that VM that I run that script. It kills the VM itself. So it kills everything. It's like, yeah, you can try that. Tough luck. That's okay. I don't know. I wish I had that thing, and because it's right at the beginning was a lack of actually acknowledged from Microsoft to change that thing properly, and still because 7.2 it's currently it's not supported, and it's like when this thing comes, the next wave, where is the next wave? One thing I noticed is the teams that are actually developing. If you count 3 years, you can actually on the last year probably you will see results. So yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that's exactly a good point. For you ask for the hybrid workers also, and you ask for you can actually do that. But one thing actually, I tend to force the guys that whenever they have like that kind of approach is like, yeah, we can use it, yes, but can you actually split your feature or for functionality or whatever the script you're doing for that thing to be even smaller. Instead of waiting for 3 hours, when that's actually happened with the project one, we were doing that, and all of a sudden we understood like, oh, this lasts for long because the tasks are very high. So what we did was we used the app, the REST API to go get me tasks from 1 to 100. Give me tasks for 101 to 200, and that thing, and then that thing works. Yeah, good, whatever. The problem, they had more than that 1,000 paging tasks, and again, that thing has a limit of 100 jobs running at the same time. So we got hammered again. So we had to restructure everything. But then, yeah, we can use the hybrid workers to do that. Yeah, exactly. More questions? Okay.
Your GitHub, for example, whenever you keep push, for example, it will work properly with updating the
It will work properly. Yes, it's updating the runbooks. Yes, it will work. When you say work properly, what do you mean? It's like you do update of the work of the runbook, and everything is okay. Is that it? Yeah, it is. It will update correctly. It doesn't mean that the runbook is actually it's actually active at that moment. What happens is that you have a time to live. I don't know how long it is. Whenever you have a runbook and it's executed, you see like queuing starting. That time usually, I think it's half an hour or 15 minutes or something like that. So probably you don't see your changes yet because you're still running the old instance. But that thing, that's one of the things that if you tag your runbooks, actually you can see if that thing is being updated or not. Okay? Okay. That's it. Was it good? Yeah? Thanks. Do like this. Do like this. I need a picture. Raise your hands, please. Hey, Portuguese do it better. Yay. Thanks, guys.